Why should it be Dubois or Usyk? Why don't they step up and let him fight? But listen, I don't pay the money. It's not my, it's if they want that. But I don't like that. I think it's wrong. I think Joe should be given he'll get a fight.
Spencer Brown couldn't hide his frustration. He knows exactly what's happening, and he's not happy about it. Instead of giving Joseph Parker the fight he's earned, boxing's power players are pushing their own agendas, keeping real competition at bay. Why aren't the so-called big names stepping up? Why is Parker being sidelined after proving himself in brutal fashion? Brown isn't the one making the money decisions, but he's calling it like it is. This is pure politics, and it stinks. Parker has done more than enough to take on the division's best, yet the usual backroom dealings seem to be at play once again. Still, Brown is certain of one thing: Parker's next big fight is coming. It has to. But the real question is whether the sport will do the right thing or if corrupt decision-makers will once again rob a deserving fighter of his moment.
Joseph Parker in the immediate aftermath called out Oleksandr Usyk, and for me personally, if ever there was a guy who deserves a world title shot, if ever there was a guy who deserved a crack at Oleksandr Usyk, even though Daniel Dubois is a champion, for me it's got to be Joseph Parker at the end of the day.
Joseph Parker has earned his shot at the world title. Fresh off a dominant win, he has made it clear that he's ready for the toughest challenge, setting his sights on Oleksandr Usyk. Realistically, who deserves it more? Parker just tore through Martin Bakole, a fighter most heavyweights wouldn't dare step in the ring with, and he did it in brutal fashion. Yet, the usual boxing politics continue to push other names forward, ignoring the fact that Parker has consistently fought and beaten top-level opposition. Daniel Dubois may hold a belt, but when it comes to proving yourself at the highest level, Parker is miles ahead. The real question now is whether boxing will reward the rightful contender or if behind-the-scenes deals will rob him of what he's earned. If fairness still exists in this sport, Parker should be next in line, no debate. But is this fight actually winnable for Parker? Or are we looking at a clash of styles that will leave him out?
Lily says Usyk. He also says Dubois. I know you're in the conversation of Dubois, Usyk. What do you do with your partner?
There's lots of things there to be done, and we will do them. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's lots of... Sorry, I can't hear anything. There's lots of things that we can look at, lots of permutations, and we'll get there at the end of the day with a really good fight for Joe. I mean, he's on the Queensbury team, and we'll make sure we deliver.
Classed. Meanwhile, Frank Warren wasted no time addressing the buzz surrounding Oleksandr Usyk, making it clear he's fully committed to delivering the biggest fights possible. He didn't hold back, stating that there are plenty of options on the table for Usyk, and that no matter what, a massive fight is on the horizon. There's a lot to consider, but Warren knows exactly what needs to happen to bring everything together. He emphasized that with the right strategy, Usyk will get what he deserves, a top-tier showdown. Now the question remains, will Parker be the man standing across from him, or will boxing politics once again dictate the outcome? Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions are fully committed to delivering the biggest fights for their stable of elite fighters. Right now...
Chisora just call you out. Something happened with Chisora.
It's going to bring us some Five Guys.
Okay.
We deserve a few burgers.
What do you want to do next? Who do you want?
We will fight anyone. I will fight anyone.
We want the title. He deserves it. He's earned it here. Look, he said no to no one.
Yeah.
He took the biggest challenges out there. Now, the only thing left for him to do is fight for the titles. Everything else is a step down. So give him his chance.
Now at the top of Warren's agenda is securing the next massive showdown for Oleksandr Usyk. Timing, negotiation, and determination will be key in making this dream fight a reality. One thing is certain. Warren is locked in, and there's much more to come in the heavyweight division. Meanwhile, Joseph Parker isn't sitting idle. He has made it absolutely clear that he is gunning for the top names in the division. After an intense and grueling battle, Parker is taking only a brief moment to recharge before diving straight back into the hunt. He has fought the best, taken on every challenge, and now there's only one thing left, a shot at the world title. Parker is calling out the champions, sending a strong message that he's ready for war. No more side fights, no more being over.
One question.
One?
Yes, you won.
Okay.
Do you want to fight Daniel Dubois next?
Yes, I wanna.
Will that happen?
What?
Will it happen next?
Good one question.
What did you make of Parker?
Looked. He knows he has earned his opportunity, but the question remains, will the champion step up and grant him his rightful shot, or will they continue to sidestep him? Parker isn't in the sport just to make up the numbers, he's here for legacy. If the division hasn't been paying attention, they will soon. This could be the fight that changes everything for him. Is he the true champion in waiting, or just another obstacle in someone else's path? Recently, Oleksandr Usyk was asked about Parker, and his response left no room for interpretation. No hesitation, no dodging, just pure, unshakable confidence. Usyk
Told you what I felt about him, and I felt that and I felt that Martin, who very bravely took the fight at short notice. Obviously he got well paid, but it was Joe's night, and Joe took the fight and that opportunity in style and delivered in the big way.
made it clear that he is ready for the challenge. Meanwhile, Parker has shaken up the entire heavyweight landscape, making himself impossible to ignore. Usyk now has a dangerous contender knocking at his door, and there's no way around this challenge. The division is evolving at a rapid pace, and if this fight gets made, it won't be a tactical chess match. It will be an all-out war. Frank Warren has also been vocal in praising Parker's most recent dominant performance. Sure, Martin Bacol stepped in on short notice and showed plenty of heart, but the night undeniably belonged to Parker.
He was supposed to get it tonight, and he will get it, 100%. And I'm rooting for him to become two-time champion of the world. It's not an easy feat. It's one thing, like he was there. He was on the door of it today, in terms of with the Dubois fight. But it shows you how tough it is. It ain't just like how good are you. It's the stars have got to align. Just to get that champion in the ring takes a bit of luck as well. So I'm sure his time will come.
He didn't just win, he made a statement. His precision, control, and sheer dominance left no doubts and no unanswered questions. With this level of performance, Parker has forced his way into the world title conversation, and now the boxing world is anxiously awaiting what's next. If you want to see this fight happen, stay tuned for more boxing breakdowns because the heavyweight division is about to get explosive. Anthony.
Joseph Parker now, we don't know if he's going to have that fight with Daniel Dubois. If Dubois goes into an Usyk rematch next, what do you want to see?
I want to see that fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Parker Dubois?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight.
Who you got?
Who do I got? The best man. But right now, Daniel Dubois is the top man right now. He's the man that's holding the belt. So Parker has to come good. And Parker has the ability to win as well.
Joshua isn't just backing Joseph Parker. He's betting on him to become a two-time world champion. Joshua knows firsthand that talent alone isn't enough. It takes the perfect mix of timing, opportunity, and relentless dedication. Parker came close against Daniel Dubois, but Joshua believes his moment is still ahead. The road to the top isn't easy, but make no mistake, Joshua is certain Parker will get there. Lennox Lewis is also keeping a close eye on the division. Joseph Parker's latest victory has sent shockwaves through the heavyweight landscape, and the big question now is whether he will face Dubois next, or if Dubois will jump straight into a rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. Lewis sees the potential for a blockbuster showdown between Parker and Dubois, a fight that could ignite the division. When asked who has the edge, Lewis doesn't hesitate. Dubois may hold the belt, but Parker is not to be underestimated. Lewis believes Parker has the skill, power, and mentality to claim victory. The heavyweight division is a battlefield, and Parker is right in the thick of it. Derek Chisora isn't pulling any punches when it comes to recent controversies. He has called the situation surrounding Parker's last opponent a
But I think he would give Oleksandr Usyk plenty to think about and plenty he could deal with. He seems to be hitting a bit harder these days as well. So Joe Parker versus Usyk, it would be an interesting fight. I've never seen it, so I really could think, okay, anything could happen. It's heavyweight boxing. Parker is a very, very good heavyweight.
Complete disaster. How can a fighter be expected to compete after enduring a brutal 24-hour flight, while Parker had months of preparation? The difference in conditioning was undeniable, and Chisora made it clear this wasn't just unfair, it was a total mismatch. Exhaustion, lack of sleep, and minimal medical checks put the opponent in a dangerous position. For Chisora, boxing is about fairness, and when one fighter is at his peak while the other is barely able to recover, something is fundamentally wrong. Meanwhile, Joseph Parker could be Usyk's worst.
It's kind of what we expected. Of course, there was always the what-if factor, but you brought someone, 20 hours on a plane from Africa, didn't land until 3 a.m. today and barely got any sleep. Of course, there's a chance that that's going to happen.
Worst nightmare. His power has reached new levels, and with every fight, he's becoming more dangerous. Lately, he's been hitting harder than ever, and if Usyk isn't careful, he could find himself in serious trouble. A showdown between these two would be a battle of raw strength versus elite skill, a fight that could redefine the division. Parker has always been solid, but with his newfound power and confidence, he's a completely different beast. If he steps into the ring at his absolute best, he might just pull off the upset the world has been waiting for. Lawrence Okolie didn't sugarcoat his thoughts on the recent controversy either. While the result may have been expected, he didn't ignore the brutal conditions that the opponent had to endure. A grueling 20-hour flight from Africa, arriving with barely any rest, this was a recipe for disaster. Okolie made it clear that such a travel schedule left the fighter at a massive disadvantage, and it showed in the ring. Still, he didn't completely dismiss the outcome. Boxing is unpredictable, and timing is everything. In this case, the margins were razor-thin, and the odds were stacked against the opponent from the start. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates. The heavyweight division is heating up, and Joseph Parker is right at the center of the action. Stay tuned, there's much more to come.